Alright guys, what is up? It's Mark aka BrawlerMark. Welcome back. Today I wanted to do a quick video. I'm starting a new series on my channel. It's going to be called Road to Master Rank or something around those lines. But pretty much I'm going to try to help any new players who are new to the game who haven't really made it to Master yet and are struggling to probably push through whatever grind that they're going on. I know that a lot of people that are early in the game, they do complain because even when I was early in the game, I was probably in like Gold League, I would see so many people write things like, oh, my team is always bad but I always get MVP and stuff. So I guess this is more a guide for those people because I grinded all the way to Master and I've done it by myself. I wasn't trying to queue up with anyone I knew, or I wasn't in chat and global chat and just like saying, oh, anyone good frontline come join me or anything like that. I think I probably at most had like 5 or 6 matches with other people. So this is gonna be my guide. Cracks begin to show. This first video I'm gonna do is gonna be a general guide that is just for general things that you should be doing in every match. And then I'm gonna have other videos where I'm gonna break down based on who you're using, if you're using front lines, if you're using support, whichever your preferred playstyle is, flanks, damage dealers, whichever one you use, I'll basically do individual guides for each one. You should have pretty much at least one character in each group based on, so if your team isn't choosing any of those characters, you can pick up the slack on that side. So I do pretty much have a general sense of how to use each type of character. It's just gonna be basic things that you should be doing in every match. So we're gonna get into it. My first tip is don't be the first person on your team to choose a character. I think this is something that is something you would see really early in the game. Even in like Diamond rank, I was seeing it a lot. And just don't be that guy. Don't go into a match and click Maeve and then just press check and you're ready to go, because even though she is a very good character, it doesn't mean that your team is gonna choose really good characters. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you chose Maeve and you just checked and you went, and then your rest of your team chose like Victor, Tyra, a Grover, and a Fernando, right? Like, you basically, you probably would have done better if you chose a healer. At that point, you have double frontline and you have 2 damage dealers. Probably not the best of damage dealers, but also because it's a Tyra and a Victor, I would want that game to go to late game. So I would probably be trying to heal up my front lines to make sure like we can actually defend and help these guys level up. I wouldn't want to be the Maeve and I'm just there trying my best to get kills and I'm watching Victor die, watching Tyra die, and then these 2 front lines, they can't hold that point by themselves. They don't do enough damage, and then it's just pretty much landslide victory for my opponent because they're getting fed so easily. So for that reason, I would say just don't be the first person to rush in and just choose a character and hit ready. If you want to select a character and not click ready, just to let your team know who you're going to be choosing and see what they go around and who they choose, then that's okay to do. You can also, it is hard because the time limit isn't that big, but don't be afraid to write in the chat and say like, we need a front line, we need a healer, or anything like that, because sometimes your teammates just don't know. It is funny to say because you would think like people know like how teams should be set up, but it's just kind of sometimes not really common sense for just a casual player. So don't be afraid to say it, because I have done it and people will actually switch and go, oh, we need a healer, and you'll just see someone chooses Maldalma and you're going to go, okay, thanks. And then now you guys can actually dominate and crush the opponent's team. This is probably an obvious one. I didn't do this one, but it's up to you if you want to do this. Play with friends. If you're with friends and you guys are even in the same room, even better, because you guys can say things to each other and it's easier than typing. To be honest, the way that the system is right now, unless you're dead and you could type really fast, it is very hard to chat with your team in the middle of a match to even say like someone killed Kinessa or something, right? A lot of times, like, I play a lot of Sky. If you watch my videos a lot, you would probably know that already, but I play a lot of Sky, and as soon as I play in a match and I get into a match and I see Kinessa, I know it's my job to kill Kinessa because I could get there easier and I can take her out really fast. But a lot of times you'll have a Skye on your team, and that won't be common sense to them, and they'll just join the fight, and they'll stay in the small circle to try to capture a point and just be poking away at people, and Canessa's just like sniping people left and right and taking out your whole team. So I would say playing with friends, it does help because you can actually chat and communicate with each other. You can say, hey man, heal me, and your friend is playing Grok, and he could just like run up to you as fast as he can and drop a heal on you, and it will help in that aspect. So that is kind of a tip. I guess I don't personally use it because I don't really play, none of my friends really play this game that much, and the ones that do, they're not that high in ranking. So I do usually just play solo, but it could help if you have friends that do play this game and you guys are all grinding. It does make sense to grind together because it will be easier on you. My next tip, it will be don't waste shots. I see a lot of people do it, and there are characters like Inara, like Grover, who take forever to reload, and just don't be, and even Ashe too. Ashe is very good for splash damage, and it doesn't really make sense that you're just firing shots at random, because with her shots are really slow too and hard to hit. So it's more like you would want 2 or 3 people to be grouped together for you to actually be firing shots off wildly. I wouldn't say, if you see a random Androxus trying to take you out, don't just fire all your shots at him at one time. You're probably only gonna hit like 1, and then you just pretty much wasted 2 shots just firing at nothing. My next tip is gonna be watch your health. Make sure that you always checking your health. A lot of times people will run in and not be paying attention, and it's just be a fast way to die pretty much. You should know when to retreat, when to push. Sometimes it is good to stand back a little bit. Maybe your healer died and he's coming back to the fight, and if you moved back a bit, you've given him the option to drop a heal on you before he goes into the actual battle. And this game is about team fights, and you do want to stay alive as long as possible, and you don't want to be that guy who's just continuously dying and feeding your opponent's team, helping them level up faster. My next tip is don't overcommit. This is mostly for flanks, and anyone with like a move like Grover, how he could throw his vine and fly forward, and Cassie, how she could dodge roll. If you see someone with low health, it's okay to chase them and take them out. If you're in a team fight, it's not okay to chase them and take them out. Leave them alone, unless you have a character like Skye, who has more than 1 mobility move, Maeve, more than 1 mobility move, Androxus, he can flicker like 3 times, Eevee can teleport, and she can turn frozen to get back or teleport again. Things like that, it's okay for you to chase. If you're a Fernando, you don't want to be using your rush move. You rush in, you take out that one person, now you're way away from your team. You have to go out of your way to walk back. You've left your team to pretty much fight 4v4. You're the front line, you can't protect them now. They're just getting wiped, and it's like, it didn't really make sense that you did that. The person is retreating anyway. They're not helping you on the fight. Now it's 5 versus 4. Continue the fight. Be a team player. Don't be that guy who's just caring about kills and not caring about the objective. My next tip is going to be learn your character. Siege is not the place to learn your character. You're not going to just go and say, hey, I bought Tyrant today, time to go to competitive matches. It doesn't make sense to do that. Learn your character, read their moves through. If you're going to be switching over to a character, like let's say you just started the game, you have the first 5 characters, you unlocked a few from free unlocks like Terminus and stuff, but you don't really like any of those, and you go and you purchase Lex today, and you're like, I've played against Lex and he's been so strong, and I want to be facing him. If I'm playing like him, I mean. Then if you want to go into competitive matches and you do lose a few games, that's okay, because you're trying to learn the character. You want to be using this character. I wouldn't say it's a place, Siege isn't a place where you would go to practice a guy to find out how he works. Like, I think yesterday was the first game I ever used Grover, because I stick to more of the characters I know, and I'll try out people who I think are good. But I've faced Grovers, and he's very annoying to deal with sometimes. I was like, I wonder if I could play with him. And I actually did go to a Siege match, and we did win, I think, but it was no thanks to me. I was just getting killed left and right. I had no idea how slow his reload was. and it was just seeming like he was really difficult to use. And it's a bad place to try out character. Go into deathmatch. It's first to 30 kills. Find out how your character plays, use them a bit, and then you can go into an actual competitive match and get your ranking up. My next tip will be know your matchups. A lot of people, they don't really get what that means. I would say for matchups, like for instance with a character like Ruckus, right? You're gonna go in with Ruckus, and let's say you're doing your little few attacks, right? Ruckus shouldn't go up and try to kill a Buck. Like Buck will literally walk up to you and give you like 2 shots and just take you out. So that's a horrible matchup. For you, you'd probably want to be retreating a bit while you're trying to hit him. He probably will jump and probably try to hit you anyways, but you shouldn't be trying to pursue him. He's a character that you don't want to face. You don't want to push like Sky, for instance. If I'm using Sky, I would always use Sky, and for probably like a month straight, I would always try to kill Grox and Yings, and that's like the worst idea because they have so many escapes to your attacks. Like Grox could do his invisible thing, so he survives forever. He could drop his heal and stand behind it. It's tanking for him, and he's healing. And his ultimate move gives him so much mobility and heals him slowly and slows you down so you could die easier. And it's like he has so many escapes, and I would always try to target him and focus him because early in ranking I would always try to focus healer, so that way their team would like slowly crumble from not being able to heal. But then I started learning the game more and knowing who to focus more. Like you should always know your matchups. Ying, if I'm facing her with Sky, I could give her like a few hits and she could always teleport away. And no matter how much mobility I have, Ying has much more mobility because she could throw her clone across the map and just dot and teleport to it at any moment. And let's say I was pursuing Ying and it took me 20 seconds to kill her. That was 20 seconds I was outside of the fight, 20 seconds she was outside of the fight, and Sky does way more damage than Ying. I could have been doing so much more for my team. I could have probably killed like a Canessa or even helped take out, let's say their front line was getting weak. I don't even know that anymore. I'm way over here trying to take out this Ying for no reason, and it's not doing anything for my team. So know who your matchups are, know which characters kill which characters. If you're a Buck, you shouldn't be jumping into a fight and aiming at the tank. You should be poking at the squishy characters, the characters who have really low health. You should be hopping on an Eevee as soon as you saw her finish teleporting and getting her to jump into her ice shield as fast as you can. Those are the characters that you should be pushing after. If you're a Barrack, you shouldn't be trying to target a Maeve. You will never catch her. She runs like triple his speed. So it's like that. Just know your matchups. It makes a big difference late game. My next tip, this video is going on longer than I thought it would. My next tip is going to be wait for your team. If you're dying and your teammates are dying, wait for your team to do a big push. Don't, even if the percentage is going up, your opponent's at 50%, you're at 0%, don't just rush in. 3 versus 5, it can win, but it's not going to statistics wise most of the time. If 3 of you guys spawn back, you should even be writing to your team when you're dead and saying, group up guys, wait for everyone. And you guys should be standing at your spawn point waiting for everyone to spawn back and then going in for a team fight. There's so many times where I'll even see a match where I'll be playing with my teammates and a Buck will just be sitting in the grass right at our spawn point, and as soon as these guys run out of spawn, it'll be like a Cassie or something, he'll just shoot her, she'll do a dodge roll, he'll jump on her, kill her, then he'll go and start poking at someone else. And it's like we're literally being held at our spawn point by one character because we're not teaming up. If all 5 of us pushed out of that spawn, that Buck would have to jump out of there. He can't even consider trying to face us. A Maeve pokes him, slows him down, or a Eevee drops a slow on him. He has to get out of there. He can't survive for anything. So he's gonna have to jump back and try to regroup with his team. You guys are stronger as a unit, and 2 or 3 characters can't push and try to kill 5 characters and dominate a point. It doesn't really make any sense, no matter how godly you think you are at the game. But yeah, so that's it for that aspect. My last tip is going to be do your best to 2v1 and not 1v1 characters. And what that means is it is easiest, I would say, for healers, support characters, because you're always going to probably be focusing to heal your tanks. So if you're behind them and you have Fernando, let's say it's Fernando versus Ruckus, they're 1v1, you're behind Fernando, you could be poking and make it a 2v1. Your damage is increased, obviously, and it will help to get the kill. So pretty much that's how you should be playing. If you're running around as Maeve and you see a Cassie facing another Cassie in the corner over here, right? You can run in real quick and just get your few pokes into, because it will help to either make that other Cassie retreat or get the kill. And that is pretty much how you will get the fight down like quickly. If you have a Fernando blocking your whole team, you guys are just poking at random people. You poking him, and it doesn't really do anything. Eventually people will start dying from one or the other side, and that's pretty much what will determine the fight. But if you can single out one person, this one Canessa is just in the corner over here, and you see someone trying to shoot her out, probably a Victor, he's not doing the best of jobs, and you have, let's say, Maeve, like I said, you could throw shots at him from her from a distance and possibly help him take her out. Even if you don't kill her, or like, I'm not saying literally hunt her down, but from you've like tossed 2 shots over there and even went back to the fight, you've weakened her enough for him to do so much more damage and take her out. So just always try to get down to 2v1, try to get the 3v2s, like any battles you see going on, try to just quickly throw your 2 cents in and help out to help dominate, and it does make a big difference in the end. It does help to tilt the battle for your team. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. That's my general tips. I am gonna make another video. I think my next one will be flanks. I think for the first map that came out, flanks are the more the easiest position, I would say, to play, and the most important position. With Frozen Guard, it does change the competitive aspect of the game, but you will still see the other map a lot. And unless other maps rapidly come out, which I don't see happening, it is pretty much just gonna be Frozen Guard and this other map for competitive siege. So flanks is gonna be my next video. This video has gone on very long, so hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. If you enjoy eating pineapple on your pizza, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to also hit that notification bell if you guys have been enjoying the videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.